Good day, everybody. Welcome to the Guiricast Live. We are here on a nice Sunday dinner time over in the UK. Looking forward to Malaga's trip to Coruña to take on another Champions League side, or former Champions League side, should I say, in the form of Deportivo a La Coruña. I'm joined by Luke Chambers, as you can see to my right or left, depending on where you're watching from. Luke, how are you doing? You all right?
Yeah, very well, mate. Caught the old man flu, so that's knocking the hell out of me. But I'm excited. I'm really excited for this one. This game's got a bit of a buzz about it.
Yeah, definitely. And we're trying to get these live streams back, as I sort of put on Twitter before. We've had a few gremlins affect us this season. I'm hoping that this is going out on X or Twitter if you like the former name, but if not, we'll find a way around it for us there. But how are you, Luke? You looking forward to this game? Obviously, it's a bit of a big one. We've seen some I don't know how to say. There's some scenes overnight. We don't want to get too involved in describing them, but obviously this is somewhat of a rivalry, isn't it, between Málaga and Depor?
Yeah, I think if you spoke to your standard football fan back home, like a lot of my friends, when you do say it's Deportivo versus Málaga, they say the obvious thing. I imagine all you lot have had it as well. Is weren't they both in Champions League? Are they not both in Champions League clubs? Like, yeah, a hell of a long time ago. But I think you said it, Nick, on the preview show. These two clubs haven't been Champions League teams for a long time ago. They haven't been Segunda teams too often as of late. Depor's dug themselves out of the well. We were straight in and out. But I don't know. You've got the two biggest season ticket holder clubs in the league. It's going to be a massive crowd in Riazor. So, yeah, I don't want to be negative. I've got a little bad feeling about today. I don't know why. How are you feeling with it?
Well, for us, obviously, we suffered our first loss last weekend at home against Elche. Quite a comprehensive loss at the minute. But up until that point, obviously unbeaten with a few wins and a few draws. Depor's start to the season, not too great. But obviously, they're coming off the back of an emphatic away win against Albacete. 5-2, it finished there. Both wingers, Jeremy and Meyer, scoring a brace each. So the tails will be up. And as you've already alluded to, the Riazor is a very difficult place to go anyway. A brilliant football stadium, a brilliant club as well. Like, I know there's a lot of rivalry around this, but for us, maybe in the UK here, we're looking at Depor. And if you're of a certain age like me and you are, Luke, we're going that Champions League side from the late 90s, early noughties, the La Liga winners from the late 90s, your Rivaldos, your Valerons, or if you're a third person, who said it to me the other day? Is it Alberto Luque, who went to Newcastle from Depor as well?
Obviously, with the name Luke at the time, Alberto Luque was a very favourite of mine. I think Spurs signed a centre half. I think it was like Narabi Naibet or something like that. I think it was. I think he was till about 41 or something like that. But like you say, Nick, seems a real romance about this tie. And like everyone else, we're probably all struggling like hell to try and get the game up at the moment. Now we'd be talking about the atmosphere in Riazor. However,
this might be a great live stream commentary of us watching a clock for a little bit, but we're hoping that a so-called betting site might come through for us in the end. But as always, if you are watching from home or whether you're in Spain or abroad, wherever you might be, do get involved. Send us your comments like Michael has already. Says, hi lads, hope you're all okay. Let's bounce back today. He wants a Pacharan tonight. Obviously, he's looking for at least a draw with that one. Luke, would you be happy with a draw from Riazor?
Yeah.
Nice little rhyming slang there.
I think at the beginning of the season, when you look at the fixtures, Depor away, I don't care where Depor are in the league, it's going to be a tough all day at Riazor. I would take a point right now. I think it's vital that we don't actually get beat, because then we've gone from an unbeaten run to losing 2 on the bounce. We've got some very, very tough games coming up. A point here would be a great point, I reckon. I've actually gone for a 2-2. I fancy a real good game.
A 2-2. That's an interesting one, because one thing that we were speaking about, me and Matt, during the week is sort of like the lack of goals we've got in this side at the moment. So we'll go to the, I say lack of goals in the side. Lack of goals up front would be the more pertinent choice to use. Just brought up the match day starting 11 on the side there, Luke. Wholesale changes at the back, obviously losing 3-0 at home to an Elche side who weren't up to much in the run-up to that game. As Sin Pellicer want to just take a few people out the firing line maybe, or bring some fresh players back in. But the one I'm looking at here mainly is Rocco Batterina up front as a lone striker. We've talked about him. We've sort of discussed how he's been playing. He kind of impressed me a little bit away at Ferrol, but Ferrol was a long time ago now. The last time we were in Galicia, actually. The last few games, not so well. He's not been that great. He's not impressed us, has he?
No, I don't know whether that's down to the way Málaga play or anything. But look, we're 7 games in now, 6 games in. He hasn't scored yet. He might not have had the amount of game time he was wanting, but for me, he doesn't even seem to get chances. Again, I don't know if we're not using him correctly, but if I'm a centre forward 7 games in and I've not even had a chance at a goal, then I'm questioning myself a little bit. We've spoke about it many times before, Nick. I think, again, today is absolutely vital that we get players in and around him because, again, Rocco is not Roberto. He's not going to be running up and down their back line. He needs to conserve that energy, get players around him, and hopefully get some crosses in the middle.
Yeah, I think players are a bit like that, aren't we? And I think we're a little bit blessed maybe with Dione star, but obviously we know Dione struggled last season, but he seems to have taken to Segunda a bit better than we expected. But, he plays a certain way. He doesn't feed on crosses into the box, whereas I think Batorina does. Rocco seems to be a target man for me. Yeah. And we've taken Ramani out. We brought David Larrubia back in, who didn't do too badly in his cameo against Elche last weekend. And we've also kept Antonito in there as well. Both Antonito and Aaron Ochoa Maloney in the side. Obviously, they're disappearing this week to go and play under-19s football, whilst they'll be missing for the Cadiz game. Do you think they've got to give it all today? I think relying on those kids essentially is a big gamble for us, really, isn't it?
It is, and me and Matt were speaking about it last week before the game in Barjamanos, I think it was. There's a hell of a lot of pressure on these two 17-year-olds, but for me, they are the 2 players currently that we are relying on. I put a tweet out midweek just talking about not disgust, I think that's a bit of a strong word, but the annoyance that in Segunda, 2 of your top players can get drawn away from the team, i.e. go into an under-19s team. That's 2 big players coming out of our team. But I think it was Christian Markowski who sent the tweet back and just put basically, look, this is our time now to show that we've had these new signings coming in and things like that. It's their time to take over from these 17-year-olds. We didn't expect 7 games in to be talking about our Macho Maloney and Antonito as being our top players, good players, but not our top players. But it's how it's became, I guess.
Well, and that's it. They've sort of stepped up to the plate for us, haven't they? Massively so. They are there on merit, not just because we've got a lack of options or anything like that.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting how they do get on today. Larrubia has obviously been injured for a while. Joins a raft of players coming back from injury as well. Luke, Labete, Kevin. Would you like to see either of those 2 come on in this match and sort of try and make an impact? Obviously, Labete is I know he's from Sociedad, but he was a former Vigo player, wasn't he? He was at Celta Fortuna a couple of seasons back. Bit of needle for him, bit of a chance to get one over.
He was, Nick, but he's not actually in the squad.
Oh, is he not? Oh, well, there we go. Then I thought he was on the bench after he was last day against
the first one for the Guiricast live stream.
Yeah,
no, I think it may be an issue of a case of maybe he's rushed back too quickly. But yeah, like you said about Kevin Medina's there, and I actually put in the group chat earlier. Something's telling me Kevin's got a big say in today's game. I imagine we're only going to see him for maybe the last 15, 20 minutes, depending on how the game's going. On the bench, Yanis is one of the players what came out of the team. I'm very interested to see where Castell is. I know for a while we said about how he's not quite up to match fitness yet. But we're in October now. How long does this go on before he's match fit?
Well, it's a big question. Matt sort of liked him as a bit of a super sub the other day when we were talking about him, and I'm kind of in agreement for the time being because I understand that he's got to get up to pace and things like that. But you'd think, yeah, I agree with you entirely, Luke. It's about time now. He's been in and around the club for nearly 2 months. How much training do you need to be able to get the nod to, give it a go? I would certainly prefer to see him over this side against Rocco Batterina, but my negativity around Rocco might mean he scores a hat-trick today, so who knows?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of players in this team currently. The one thing I am quite worried about with this team, I don't just mean this 11 today, I mean our whole squad, is our goals. I personally, I know I've gone for the 2-2 today, but I don't see anybody in this team getting more than 10 goals this season. I really don't.
Yeah. No, well, that's it. We thought we might get that from somebody to start the season, like you say, whether it's a Kevin or an Antonito, but it's looking more and more likely that we'll have an attritional approach to goal scoring, bit similar to like what we did last year, really, didn't we? We weren't prolific last season, so it's going to be interesting how we take to this game. Maybe just quickly having a little gander at the Dayport side. Not too many names that we'll recognise straight off the bat on there, but I suppose Umfulu, who used to play for Las Palmas last time, we were in Segunda. He's a really good football player. You've got local boys, Meyer, who, like I say, scored a brace against Albacete last weekend. Jeremy from the Cantera for Depor, but he's originally from Gran Canaria as well. Plenty of options. No Lucas Perez in this game. So obviously he was the name we were going to be looking for. Beg your pardon. So we have got Lucas Perez. He's called Lucas.
I'm glad you got yourself then, Nick. I didn't want to be that guy again.
We have got Lucas Perez. Sorry, it's called Lucas on my screen. I need to change that. But yeah, obviously this is a bit similar to us, really. I said that it was obviously a meeting of two former Champions League sides, the only two former Champions League sides we've had confirmed as well in the Segunda. Two massive teams who trade on name, in my opinion, but two teams that are trying to clamber back up to where they once were. It's not going to be the classics of old, is it? Let's put it that way.
No, I mean, end of the day, a lot of things have happened off the field with these two teams, i.e., bad ownership, things like that. But we are where we are for reasons. Both haven't been up to scratch. I mean, Depor, what's it took Depor 4 years to get out of the well? 4 or 5 years. This year, they finally did it with the changing manager when the Arcades came in. That was unbelievable, really. But yeah, and I think that's why it's going to lead to a good game today. I think it is just going to be a very barbaric game. Or anything can happen. I think this is because we both came from Primera, which we said was rock and roll football. I don't know. I've just got that vibe about today. I don't know why. No,
it's bound to be a difficult place to go to at any point. And we were having this chat this week that there's no easy start to the season for Malaga, coming from where you came from. And it's the same for Depor as well. But it feels like there's more than just 3 points up for grabs with this one, if I'm being perfectly honest, because there is that little bit of competitiveness between the two. There's a reputational side of things. Obviously, a few years ago when it was Depor versus Malaga to see who would get relegated down the well, it was Deportivo who came off worst there. Spent, I think it's the last 4 or 5 years, Luke, down in the third tier of Spanish football. So it was a long time for such a big club to be down there. We're probably only blessed we were there for a season, but it's hard when you're that kind of level club, aren't you? It'd be aching to. Well, I suppose like it was when Nottingham Forest, and Leeds United were in League One. That type of vibe, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I always use it as an example when I said that Malaga have dropped down to the third tier, effectively non-professional football. But then you'd say Depor are there, and nobody could ever believe the Depor that they're there. But again, they were there a long time, really, really struggled. Not even getting in play. Actually, they lost to Castellon, I think it was not last season, the season before in the playoffs. But besides that, they was really struggling. I'm just reading in the comments there, Nick, and Owens had a really bad start to the day looking at this. So, good afternoon, fellas. Was feeling confident today and was hoping for a Charlton Malaga double with this weekend. Just spilt something down my classic 2012 Isco shirt. Hope it's not a bad omen. I mean, that is the holy grail for any Malaga fan, that shirt.
Yeah.
Owen, I pray it's not a stain for you as well, mate.
No, I think that's exactly it. Hopefully, it's not a bad omen. We have, in theory, kicked off somewhere. It is 1 minute past 1 here in the UK. Therefore, 1 minute past 2 in Spain at the moment. I'm just refreshing like mad on
we've got
my.
it, Nick. It's on. It's on.
You found it. You found it.
It's on. It's on.
Right,
They haven't actually kicked off in Riazor yet. They're just doing the toss. This particular betting agency, it generally is like to the second, so there's a slight delay in Riazor by the looks.
Yeah, we'll wait for it to switch on there. It says the stream is available, but we'll come across it when we can. I'm just looking at the odds here as well. To be fair, Luke, full-time result Malaga 4-1. This is the benefit of being on a betting website. So they seem to think,
is this what we've turned into now, Nick? Are we advertising odds and stuff?
I think we are. I'm looking at some of these here actually and going, you know what?
So since we're talking about it, I have had an ambitious pound. So I've gone with Antonito anytime, Lucas Perez anytime, Jeremy and Aaron Achoa Maloney to have a shot on target and a 2-2 draw. That's 170 to 1. Am I confident? Nada.
I might be looking to put me £5 on something here, like you say, but they really seem to be going with the idea that Depor are going to get a result here. Like I say, 4-1 for Malaga, 8-11 on for Deportivo La Coruña, and some of the bet boosters down here. It actually looks quite good, actually. Over 7 corners. Match result will be a draw or Malaga. Antonito to score any time. 7-1. I like them odds.
Yeah, have a little monkey on that.
I might put my £5 on that one. That's a gentle little 35 quid in for the lunches next week, I reckon. So
we are off in Riazor, and Malaga have started very well. In truth, we have now got a corner. Malaga playing in the absolutely stunning. Has it grown even more on you yet, Nick? Or is the goldy yellow kit still there? Has it got a bit of a burden on top?
You know what? It has grown on me a little bit, especially when I went to see it for myself. It's just the brown that gets me. It's the brown that affects me on it. I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about brown on a football shirt. But I appear to have something of a live stream now, so that's a positive.
I suppose now is a good time to do the first minute check of the day then, Nick. I'm on 1 minute and 15 seconds.
I'm on 1 minute 20 seconds, so I'm somehow already ahead of you by
right, so on the iPad, I've got the iPad as well, and on the iPad I'm on 1 minute and 30, so I think we're about there.
We'll be thereabouts. I'm just going to try and there's a little trick that I get sometimes. It takes a little bit time to kick in, but I can sometimes, if I zoom in enough, it gives me the option to go full screen, and that's exactly what we want.
For anybody who's new to watching the live streams, last season were memorable for many, many things, but the amount of times there was 4 of us on screen at once, and it was like a Mexican wave of celebrations because everybody's screens were just all over the place.
And that's probably definitely the best way to describe it there. A Mexican wave of all sorts of things. But yeah, to tell you what, there is this needle between ourselves and Depor, but everything about Depor for me, I think if I hadn't...
The kits are for world famous, aren't they?
Yeah, I think if I hadn't had that relationship with Malaga, Depor could certainly be the team that I'd maybe have a bit of a fancy to. There's not many other teams in Spain I can say that about, but the fact they play in these Kappa kits, the Estrella Galicia 0% logo.
Yeah. I mean, one big thing for you as well, Nick, as a Blackpool fan, certain Charlie Pantino sat on the bench. I imagine you're very excited about him getting a chance today.
Absolutely, he was brilliant for Blackpool when we had him on loan from Arsenal. A real coup at the time as well for us for the player that he is, and very tidy footballer, a very positive footballer. Just loves to knock the ball around, and you can see that he's been in an academy at Arsenal, and I think the story that goes with him for this as well. He could have easily have got himself a move to the Championship for £1 million, or gone somewhere like one of your top Scottish teams maybe, but he's decided to go for a bit of an adventure, gone to a club which is the team that his dad supported. So his dad is is British, I believe, but he lived in A Coruña for a very long time. So nice full circle kind of stuff, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, there's romance to it, and I wish there were more British players who would make the move. I mean, we're we're as Spanish wannabes as you can get, aren't we? Or like we prefer to watch. Clearly, we prefer to watch the Spanish players than the English players, but it's always nice to just find that little coup of a player who somehow made his journey back to Segunda or even Primera last season.
And that's exactly it. I think it's like saying, "Oh well, what a bit of a difference for him, really." And I think, to be fair, there's more and more people doing it. Obviously, you look at your bigger transfer moves, your Jude Bellinghams to Real Madrid, your three lads who were at AC Milan, for example, Tomori, Abraham, and Loftus-Cheek. Yeah, you can have them, but like, look at your young lad who's gone from Spurs to Cordoba. That's fun. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You look at a few more people going to some of the top clubs in Spain. Ollie McBurney and Scott McKenna, the two Scots lads currently playing for Las Palmas. It's a lot more common than we think now, and I think it's not just great for our football, but also great for Spanish football as well. That you've got people that are willing to make those jumps now. Like, I remember when I was, don't get me wrong, I was never going to trouble the national selectors or even get into any kind of, professional football environment. But if you said to me, like, oh, well, nowadays you can go and play in Spain and they'll teach you the language and they'll pay you just as much as you'll get paid playing in the Championship or League One, then you've got to go, well, yeah, why wouldn't you?
It's the life. It's not just the laying on the beach kind of thing, what a lot of people have in their head. You've got to work hard for it, but the way of living, just everything in Spain, you can't see a negative to playing for a team like Malaga. And that's why you always think to yourself, why is it a rarity? I mean, we had Arvin Appiah on loan, which in truth were a disaster, wasn't it? He never played, he never really did anything. I think he scored 1 goal on last day of season, but it's, for me, if you're a Championship player who's had a decent career and there's that little bit of interest of a Spanish move, we'd snap their hands off. Does Malaga go through? Oh my days!
Was that Rocco Batterina there? Who's just not went off the post.
I think it was
Rocco.
Depo come on the counter attacking. Great
defending there from Joaquin Gabilondo, was it? Yeah, Malaga with the first.
Like I say, this game
really.
This game has got rock and roll football written all over it. I'm feeling it already.
It has. It was a great chance. It was a lovely break from Aaron Ochoa-Maloney just to thread the through ball into Rocco Batterina. I think it was Larubia, actually. Sorry.
Antonito, Nick.
Oh, no, it is Aaron Ochoa-Maloney. Sorry. You'll have to forgive us on this one. The blurriness of the screen is never great, but also the positivity from Deportivo to go down the other end and go, you've spurned that one. We're going to counter-attack you. They just look rapid on the wings through Meyer and Jeremy, don't they?
Yeah, we've got to be very cautious today. And for me, the two changes at fullback are actually warranted. I mean, Danny Sanchez hasn't played very well in his 3 games, whilst Victor's been out injured, I don't think. Puga's played well, but I like Hakeem as a defender. I know geography doesn't really add much to a game, but these are Hakeem's areas up north. To bring him into a game like this, I don't see any negatives to that.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, like you say, he's I don't want to say brother in arms because it's that type of thing, isn't it? But cooler climes maybe, and I know it's actually raining in the Costa del Sol at the minute. I believe you'd have to double check me on that one, but certainly going to northern Spain, it's a bit more like playing on the south coast of England, I believe, this time of year. So, but I still take it.
Just showed you on screen there, Nick Alex Pastor. Big day for him as well today, coming back into the team.
Absolutely. I think he's got something to prove, more importantly, as it's coming for a corner from Depot, and it's well handled in the end, but it dropped quite awkwardly. Back in, big header. Oh,
I thought that went in.
I thought that was in as well there. That is Barbero.
Barbero.
Just got his head to that, whipped ball back in, and Alfonso Herrera was scrambling, but I think he had it covered there. But this is a long ball back in. Pastor there playing everybody on side.
It's not great defending there, is it? By
really
anybody?
not. No. It's just watching it, isn't it? He's just rather than watching the line, he's waiting for the ball to come in and giving himself an extra couple of yards, which won't work out too well for us. And like you were saying, Luke, he's got some proving to do, hasn't he? I think.
Yeah, because when we signed him, the signing very much we're told is going to be our number one centre half. Ferrell, he did okay. The sending off then came with horrible tackle, really deserved to get sent off. And then Einar and Monte was playing well together. Then just gradually, I mean, even last season, it sounds so strange when we say this because our actual defensive record was so good last season. But defensively, I don't think we always performed great. I would rather have Einar and Monte as our two. But if Pastor can come into this game today and have a big game, he's got his foot straight back in there.
Just looking at that replay there as well, look, it was Antonito who got that shot off and hit the post. He's the one who's made the run there. So both former Malagueño players combining early on to give Malaga the first lead. But dare I say, I think it's been all day poor since that opportunity.
I did expect this, though, Nick. I expected Malaga to play a bit of a counter-attacking football. But that, again, is why it's so important that we have got our 17-year-olds, I think, because Ochoa Maloney likes to turn on the ball at pace. And for me, Antonito's always got that inside run. He's something we haven't got. I mean, Dione's not going to do that. Rocco's definitely not going to do that. I believe Castell probably not going to do that. But with Antonito making that run from the outside wing, it's always an option. I've got no issues with playing Antonito close to Rocco. You know, it's like a 2.
Yeah.
It's a bit more of an outlet because, I mean, just based on this first 10 minutes, we're going to be the defending team, and I don't think this is going to be a 0-0 game whatsoever. But if this ends in 0-0 and we get a point, then for me, it's a good point. But I can see Depor breaking our lines at some point.
They're looking like they've got the tails up for it as well, though, and playing some lovely little passes.
It's a big game for Luis Me as well today, because that kind of play with that experience in there to go to big grounds like Rio Thor, you need your top experienced players to be on cue. As Depor shoot again this time way wide, but the intent from Depor is quite clear today. Michael Phillips, Arsenal had a real high on Pantino. Don't really know what went wrong. Hope he turns it around starting next week. I think we see it happen so much in British football, don't we, Nick? The good, talented players don't actually get a chance. I mean, Spurs have currently got one called Mikey Moore, who's just turned 17, and he looks phenomenal. He's actually getting a chance, but we've had several players like Troy Parrott, Dane Scarlett, who were meant to be the next Harry Kane and so on, and then they just vanished to playing in Dutch League or League Two. It's vital that, I mean, Malaga are a club what do actually bred the young players, give them chances. But yeah, I heard huge things about Pantino.
Yeah, well, like I say, he was brilliant for us. I think he had less of a good time on loan at Swansea last season. My understanding is the managerial changes there just didn't really suit him, whereas we had Neil Critchley in charge when he was with us. And I think he was just a bit more suited to being that kind of player. So when that does happen, I think obviously Critchley went underneath that as well. We had Appleton to begin with, and there's a few people that came in there. So I think he managed to thrive a bit more under us because we put more into him, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think it's just a change, really. I think a change of scenery for him. I imagine Arsenal have probably got some form of buyback on him if he or sell on clause if he makes it big in Spain, that they'll benefit from, because I'm sure Edu wouldn't, let him leave for only £1 million as well. That's the other side of it. So yeah, it's going to be interesting for him.
It's ambitious from Depor to be spending £1 million on a 20. Is he 20? Or he's young, isn't he?
Yeah, he's only a young lad still, like I say, still baby faced. But obviously, I'd be interested to see obviously what is because he still lived at home, if I remember rightly. So I It'd be interesting if his family's decide to go bugger it. Let's go across there again. So, yeah, it's been interesting. So remember as well, you guys at home, if you do want to get involved, drop us a comment into the chat. Let us know your thoughts on this game. Are you as confident as Luke Chambers? Do you think coming away from here with a result is something that we're going to do, or is this a bit of an up as Lucas Perez is coming through here now? Shot from Depor, and it's just past Herrera's post, but it looks like it's coming for Depor at the minute.
Nervy times. Also, for anybody in the comments who, if you are watching the game, sneakily tell us what you're watching it on if you want. As me and Nick says, we are currently in the UK and we are watching it on a particular betting agency. However, I have got my Spanish TV next to me and I can't find it anywhere. And I dare say that Deportivo versus Malaga is on telly somewhere, as Mirandes Malaga and Ferrol Malaga are on telly at times.
Well, I was confused about this from a Premier Sport perspective. So I think, to be fair, I've only seen one Segunda game on Premier Sport this weekend in the UK, and that was the Friday night game. Yeah. Forgive me, I can't remember who it was that was on there.
Huesca and Cadiz.
That was the one, Huesca against Cadiz, and that was it. And like I say, this afternoon, yes, the Seville derby is on. Yes, I think they're showing a couple of other things as well. But, you'd think a game like this, as we've mentioned, the two former Champions League sides, the two, just by pure numbers of fans that have bought season tickets this season, the two biggest clubs in Segunda, just by that metric, you'd think they would put this on the streaming.
It will be there somewhere. It's so hard finding it. And that's where last season we probably took it for granted so much, the RFEF TV app, how good it was to us. I mean, going back to it was 2 weeks before the season started, we didn't believe that the Guiricast was even possible because none of us knew where we were ever going to find a game.
It was so good. I
missed
everything about Primera. I won't lie. I don't mind Segunda, but I tell you what, this is silly having to watch it in pixels. That's essentially what it is in order to get it on the screen.
I would show the screen, but I suppose I'd be advertising or something, so we better not. But yeah, I mean, again, grateful for this service because without this, we'd have nothing. But I can't tell you what Manu Molina's colour boots are, if you know what I mean.
No, exactly. We could have had La Liga Plus.
Yeah,
we could have had La Liga Plus as Rubio goes for a little pop now. He's wearing orange boots, so he's got the orange boots on today. So he's just swung in a little left-footed effort towards Depor's goal. It's not going to really trouble the goalkeeper, if I'm being perfectly honest.
I love the commitment from Michael Phillips. I'm out walking, listening to you boys on YouTube. That is what we do this for, Michael. Things like that.
Definitely.
When we were saying then, Nick, regarding the actual game, I mean, watching it on this particular agency, we can see the stats straight up. So, yeah, we've said about Depor having the better chances. Depor's had 4 shots, 1 on target. Malaga's had 4 shots, 2 on target. So, we're definitely in the game 17 minutes in. I am enjoying this game. I really am.
Oh, it's good. It's good. Like I said, we're getting there and we're trying to broadcast everywhere we can find too. X isn't working right now.
That's the hard one, isn't it? That's the one.
That is the hard one. It's like that was always our good output, and I've solved it, Luke. I don't know if you've seen my message to you, but basically, we have Twitter Premium. We have Twitter Premium. We pay for Twitter Premium so we can be on Elon's good list. But then, in order to stream onto thing, you need Premium, which I assume is something that we haven't got.
Yeah.
And then above that, there's Premium Plus. How many levels of bollocks do you need just to put your video on YouTube when you're already paid?
Monday life, isn't it? Monday life.
It's ridiculous. It's honestly absolutely ridiculous.
This is another thing that we tried to get out. Malaga on the counter attack here, 3-on-2. Out to Antonito, shifts it onto his right foot. Still with the ball. Victor outside, whips it in.
Oh, it's a corner. It's a corner.
Yeah, as you say, Nick, I mean, obviously the success of the live streams last season, we're out blowing our trumpets and we're not the biggest club in the world, the biggest stream in the world, but we were getting a couple of hundred viewers. new people every week. It was fantastic. Without the Twitter stream, or the X stream, as we call it these days, it can be a tough ask at times, can't it?
Yeah, like you say, it's where your biggest audience is for us, really. So we persevere. We're going to have to try and fix that for us, but we want to make sure we bring, because again, it's the hindsight of it. It is even more difficult to watch Malaga games or listen to Malaga games right now because we don't have a steady output or steady stream for the matches. So it's needed more than ever. But yeah. Perhaps,
it's like everything. I mean, like you've just said regarding the premium plus, premium, blah blah blah. It all comes with a cost. Premier Sports TV, again, is a subscription. Not everybody's wanting to subscribe to things. That's where something like this is vital.
Well, that's it. A subscription as well for when your team might be on. That's the other side. That was the great thing. Always Zapor and Sabahide here.
Straight through.
See who that was there.
The thing is, Nick, like you've just said, if your team's on, Malaga's already been on once, and once on the Premier Sports stream or whatever it is. I'd take a wild guess that we'll be on once more, maybe twice for the remainder of the season. I have Premier TV purely because I'm a big La Liga fan. I've always, like yourself, enjoyed Spanish football. The Segunda is a bonus, but you just think you wish there were Premier Sports TV 3. Anything as Aaron, is that Aaron Ochoa Maloney again?
That was Aaron Ochoa Maloney, our little Irish.
He's listened to my bet builder. He's listened to my bet builder, and he's thinking shot on target. Let's get that tick, because currently I have 0 ticks.
Well, we've had a few.
However, I believe a 0-0 result gets me my £1 back. But I'm not sitting here asking for a 0-0 result for £1. I'm not that tight. I know I'm from Yorkshire, but I am not that tight.
Well, it seems to me that Aaron Ochoa Maloney and Antonito are really the bright sparks for us so far. They both go away this week for under-19s duty, one with Spain, one with Ireland. Ireland for now, may I add. If you're not listening to the preview show earlier this week with me and Matt, we were saying that the Spanish FA are sniffing around Aaron Ochoa Maloney, trying to convince him to play for what is the country of his birth. He is naturalised Spaniard, but has an Irish mother, but so represents Ireland on the international stage at the moment. But do you think he would? I know that Dean Hyson, who's obviously a former man of Malaga's parish, he had the option to play for either Spain or the Netherlands, if I remember rightly. Now at Bournemouth, tearing it up, and has decided to play for Spain under 21s rather than going with the country that his name would suggest. That's probably the nicest way of me putting it, without sounding weird.
It's a real tough one for. Harold makes a good save. Double
save. Just can't seem to clear it at the minute. Malaga is. Mayer tries to.
It's such a quick game. As Malaga half clear lines, but the ball's coming back in now. It's a good ball and away. Good defending from the header. See, this is what worries me. In Granada, we couldn't deal with this kind of pressure. It looks like they've dealt with it quite well there. Going back to what you said there, Nick, it's a real tough decision, I guess. I mean, yes, he's born in Spain. He has the Irish mother. Where is he going to have where's he going to have a better chance of an international career? I'd be looking at Ireland. Obviously, Spain's the production. The amount of players what Spain already have, the Real Madrids, the Barcelona. I do believe Aaron Ochoa Maloney is going to go on to bigger and better things. Somebody's going to buy him eventually. He will move on. But he could be in that Irish midfield, I imagine, for 20 years. The Spanish one, we know, I don't know how many good players miss out on that Spanish team as it is.
Well, we were talking, Luke, and I know that you were one of the people who were a bit more on the scale of, is it vital that Antonito, for example, goes and plays under-19s football when he's clearly, I don't want to say better than that level, but you'd maybe think, with the experience he's having and how important he is to Malaga in the minute, is it vital he goes away when he could be playing in an important game on Friday night against, a big rival in the form of Cadiz? But then you look at what's the option above that? It's going into the 21s, and then you're up against some real, big talents like your Maleros, your Sanchez's, your your Gabby Vegas, for example. It's tough. It would be tough for him to crack. So what can more he do? I suppose, at least from Aaron Maloney's perspective, he's got that option to do either or, hasn't he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and let's call it spade a spade. It's not unusual for Irish players to trade the nationality and go and play for somebody else. That's just a matter of the fact in the minute, which I think I looked at something and said, if Ireland had the team that they could have through various different either nationalities, fathers, grandparents, whatever, it'd be mad. Even Harry Kane could play for Ireland, technically, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a common thing these days, isn't it? Where people are not changing nationalities, but picking the nationality, I guess. Nick, how the hell is this game 0-0?
I really don't know at the minute. It seems to be it's really end to end for both sides at the moment. Both of them
to Depot, but that following David Arubia once more took it in on his left foot, unleashing a decent shot, the goalkeeper. But it's as if Malaga's had a bit of a Sergio's gave them a bit of a shoot on sight policy as well today, because I mean, if we can go 1-0 up before half time, fantastic. But again, Depor with a corner now, Depor really attacking us. It's just a good end to end game for me so far. This is the most. No, Granada away was a very good game. This again, Depor. I mean, again, sorry, just talking about the stats, but because they're in front of me, Depor's had 9 shots, 6 on target. Malaga's, the away teams, had 8 shots, 3 on target. That might look like Depor are pacing us a bit, but it's not. It's just a good game.
No, it really is. It's very open between both sides as well. But you would expect this from two teams who are coming up into this division, who, for want of a better word, I know it's obviously been one season for Malaga, but they're not used to the football that they play in this league, and that's probably where Depor especially have struggled so far this season, because they've not got used to the pragmatic approach of teams in this league. You know, you come up against teams like Huesca and Mirandés and people like that, and they won't go for the jugular, so to speak, but they'll play you off the park, even those kind of sides. And then you don't even need to think about the likes of the teams who have come down from La Liga, who were playing at an even higher level last year. You know, think about this in the greatest of respects. You've got Malaga last year who were playing, in the third tier, and you had Granada who, if I remember rightly, was it last year they were playing some form of European football, like they qualified for?
I think it was 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah. So it's like, it's just the difference in level of what you can do in Segunda. The way it congeals is just insane.
I mean, for a prime current example is Girona. They went up via the playoffs 3 years ago. Now they're playing Champions League football, signing players for 25 million quid.
Happens, doesn't it? It can creep up on you that way, I suppose, is the best way to describe it. So,
just saying, Michael Phillips is amazing comment, and that's what we do this kind of stuff for. Trust me, boys, the service you give is brilliant. I really know. Keep up the great work, all 5 of you on the Guiricast. That's why we do this stuff. It really is.
It's the way to do it, isn't it? But we're just
we've got to dig and try and find how we can watch games and how we can live stream and put on a good show, I guess, for everybody. But it really does challenge you, doesn't it, Nick?
Yeah, no, it's worth it. Just to watch football with you, Luke, to be fair. We are separated merely by a mountain range. The Pennines, the backbone of England. Where else are you going to find on the internet a Lancashireman and a Yorkshireman sitting nicely on a Sunday afternoon watching some Spanish second tier football between two teams which were playing in the third tier last year? It's a beautiful thing. Famos indeed.
If there is any interest out there as well, I believe that host of the show, Matt Harrison, he sat with his Peña in Marbella, which sounds disgusting.
Yeah, it must be awful. Yeah, imagine that on a Sunday, just like, no work, just step outside your apartment or your house and just wander down to a Peña bar to watch Malaga play with a load of other Malaga fans. It'd be awful, that. I'd rather sit here with you, Luke.
Yeah, exactly. We've got Ali Castro currently sat on a Renfe train on his way down to the Costa del Sol, I believe, for a week's holiday. Again, sounds disgusting. We don't need that. And then we've got Chris Marquez, who Chris is doing Chris things. Chris could be anywhere right now. Nobody knows.
Could be anywhere. Could be anywhere. Appears to be raining as well in Coruña.
That is a pleasant sight, Nick. It's not raining here in Doncaster, but in La Coruña, they've got the brollies out.
It could do any minute here in Lancashire.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not looking very bright out there, but
no, I was going to say. I think, to be fair, let's call a spade a spade. Lancashire is the Galicia of England. That's the way I'll explain it. But just shy of half an hour on the clock here. Still Deportivo, La Coruña and Málaga 0-0. Lots of chances for both sides so far, but nothing to really sting the palms of either goalkeeper. I think maybe we say that Depor have shaded it so far, Luke. A couple of efforts where they crept up at the back post.
I think it's just game plans. Like I say, Málaga have come here to play on the counter attack, and rightly so. Depor. At the end of the day, Depor's got to be winning this game at home, in my eyes, in front of their crowd. We come away from La Rosaleda every week where if Malaga's not got the 3 points, disappointed because you're playing a fortress like that. I believe we can beat anybody. But yeah, Depor definitely seem like they've got the goal scoring touch, and if they did go ahead, Malaga would really have to show that we would have to change something, just a little bit more attacking, come off the counter attacking play.
I think this is probably be where we put things at the minute, but I think Malaga are playing the more controlled, tempoed football. Like say, Pellicer just with the passing it around, knocking it around, taking the chances where they can. Depor, for the large part, have only really looked good when they've been attacking. I think some of the defending has been a little less to be desired. We've managed to creep a ball into Antonito or into Rocco a couple of times behind the back line.
Yeah.
So I suppose what I'm trying to say is they can be got at. We've just got to make sure that we take advantage of it.
Definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, I imagine there's 28,000, something along them lines. As Depor whip the ball in again.
Trying to get it
some kind of good defending, I guess. But yeah, like you were saying, Nick, these can be got. I mean, Depor's form, they've only won once in Riazor out of 3. So they've won one game at almost 2. Then on the road, they've won one game, lost 2 and drawn 1. So they are actually 19th place, and they're there for a reason. And maybe that's why the way that they're playing here, the attacking style, maybe that's one thing what has actually gone against them.
Maybe. I think, like you say, it's one of them, isn't it? Like, so it depends what school of football you come from. As long as you can outscore your opponents, then it doesn't really matter how many you concede. But football don't work that way, does it? Nowadays, it's fucking Pep Guardiola and his school of robots have ruined it for everybody. For me, whereas Imanol Diakas might be thinking, "Fuck it, if I can score 3, but I can see 2, then 3 points on the board. Why not?"
And that is one thing where, again, I see Michael in the comments, can't believe I'm giving a Spurs fan praise. But just to go to that, that's the way that Big Ange seems to like to play. If you're going to score 2, we're going to try and score 3. It really doesn't always work. It's hard being a Spurs fan at a lot of time. But it's a football what I'd rather watch than the conservative side-by-side robot football looking for 0-0s or nick it 1-0 or something.
Yeah, it's the way Ian Holloway did it. If it's good enough for Holloway, it's good enough for Big Ange. It's good enough for Idiakas. I always find fascinating, like, say, I remember watching Imanol Idiakas when he was at Derby.
Derby, yeah, what a player. Who was the other? Can you remember? I'm sure they had 2 Spaniards at the time or something like that. One was a striker, I think. Idiakas is a centre midfielder, but a goal-scoring centre midfielder, if I remember.
Yeah, I can remember him in midfield. I think the only other name that I can think of that's like that, but I know he's definitely not Spanish, is Pesky Solido.
Paul Pesky, no, he won.
Yeah, he was a bit earlier than Idiakas, wasn't it? David players come down in the box.
I'm not having that.
No, he's a referee's waving it away, pointing for a goal kick. Obrador.
Let's see. There's the replay. The replay comes in. The ball's whipped across. Malaga player flicks the ball on. No,
get up, you tart. Honestly, what is that?
That's pathetic.
That is just daft. Look at Larubi there. He's saying barely touched him.
It's the arms after. The arms thing. Well done, referee. Referee waves away. As you all know, this season we have got our old friends VAR, so every little bit like that is a nervous one. But no, that's pathetic. That is.
Trips himself up.
He does. He literally does.
Dear.
In truth, you look at the amount of shots this game, Nick, from both teams, but no keepers really had too much to do. No, Pereira made 1 or 2 saves, but I guess simple saves or ones what you'd really expect him to make.
You certainly think so.
Malaga now again just starts to get hold of the ball, and I like this, to be fair. Just obviously we've currently got the games on mute, but I imagine the atmosphere is quite a decent atmosphere in there. So Malaga's showing a bit of experience here. Just look after the ball for a couple of minutes, just silence the crowd a little bit more.
Absolutely. I'm just looking now. I'm having a bit of fun with looking for Spanish football players who have played for Derby.
Yeah, Derby team up where Idiaquez played.
I think it would be at the same time, or around the same time. It'd be Manel, who was he was at Espanyol. I can't remember too much about him, but they've also had Daniel Ayala. He was on loan from Liverpool at the time. They had Alberto Bueno on loan from Real Valladolid. They've currently got a player who is, it's saying the later club here is Deportivo. So that was Albentosa. But there's a former Malaga player in this list.
Yeah. Centre half.
Have you spied him?
Who was, sorry?
Even Calero was once of Derby County as well.
Well, Raul Albentosa, he was a centre half for Malaga. Raul Albentosa was actually begging to come back to Malaga when we got relegated to Primera last summer. You know, like a lot of players were coming out saying, "Oh, I want to play." I mean, I think he's about 48 now or something. So he just have for a couple more Euros, I think.
We did have a 42-year-old striker in Segunda last time we were here, so it's not amongst the realms of possibilities for us to do that. But
true.
Something's
now telling me that this particular player for Derby I'm on about wasn't actually Spanish, but a bit of an iconic player. I'm just trying. So Idiaquez was with Derby 04 to 06.
Yes, yeah, and it was that pedigree kit, wasn't it? But just before they got promoted to the Premier League?
I think so. It was before the disasters.
It was before they became the worst Premier League team in history.
Yeah, right. I've got it up here. No, this can't be it because Idiaquez is there. Who am I thinking of here? Oh, no, yeah, sorry, he's not thingy bob, he's not Spanish at all. Can you remember the striker? Polish kid, Rasiak.
Gregor's yeah.
I mean, I'm talking back because of a Football Manager game here. It might have been shit. It might be so bad. Oh, he actually got 18 goals in 41 games. So, yeah, I'll take that. He went on to Southampton. Oh, I'm talking, yeah, of course he played 8 games.
Hang on. Are we talking about the same person here? Because I feel like we may have been. I think we're talking about 2 different people now. I just had a little Google, right? Mm-hmm. And this chap here, who's the Deportivo manager, this is how amateur we are, Luke.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, this is
Imanol. The guy I'm currently reading about right now, who plays for Derby, is called Inigo Idiaquez, who last time out was actually the manager of Real Union and was the previous Aston Villa under-21s manager.
Yeah, I mean, the viewers don't want to know about Depor's current manager. They want to know about iconic.
They want to know about Inigo Idiaquez, don't they? Of course. They've got nothing to do with each other.
Right, so the Depor manager, he played nowhere near Derby, I can tell you that.
He was never at Derby at all. Just
No.
to
His current
people at home.
his managerial history. He's been the manager of AEK Larnaca, Real Zaragoza, back to Larnaca, Villarreal's assistant manager. Then he was manager of Leganes, and now currently depot manager.
I was going to say, I remember him going in at Leganés. Yeah, I think that's where I remember him from. But I just assumed he was also Inigo Idiakas from Derby. So,
I mean, if we don't tell anybody, can we claim that this is Inigo, who was a good player for Derby, or is that a little unprofessional?
They never need to know. We're not the Spanish Segunda show. We don't need to know anything outside of what happens at Malaga, really. But that's
still every now and again when I'm looking on my my Spanish channels, cannot find this game whatsoever. Really can't. As Depot come on the attack again. How do you think Malaga's defended, Nick? I mean, Depot's had 8 shots on target, but I don't think we've been hammered or anything.
No, I think we've done really well defensively, to be honest. I think Joaquin, especially coming back after, very little football recently, I think he's performed quite well against, a tough adversary with Jeremy.
Yeah.
But even Alex Pastor, do you know what I mean? Apart from playing everything onside earlier, he's not had much to do, but he's looked okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he's not got a bit of a yip in him.
It's a good game for him to come back into a big game like this.
Well, I think when you to be honest, the striker who's up top for Depot at the minute, that Barbera, he's not up to much, really, is he? It's more Lucas Perez who's doing the troubling of people at the minute, but he's obviously just playing as more of an attacking midfielder than as a striker.
Yeah.
But it's all coming down the wings for Depot. It's all coming from Maya. It's all coming through Jeremy, and dare I say, Joaquin and Victor seem to be handling it quite well. Victor as well. I need him to have a good game today, because obviously he came up to this level. He played the first 3 games before getting injured, but he looked lost at times as well, didn't he? He looked like he was struggling.
Victor is a player that we put a lot of confidence in. Obviously, we know what he can do going forward. I suppose more now a little bit worrying is seeing Dani Sanchez's recent performance as well. I mean, Dani Sanchez seems a fantastic club man. Every celebration he's involved in, all that kind of stuff. But regarding the actual on-field play, I don't know if Dani Sanchez is good enough for this level.
No, and I think to ask him to be is also a bit of a bold thing from Pellicer, because we picked him up from was it Numancia? Was he the one that was that? Which I think they just either just been relegated or just about survived in the league below Primera the season before. So I get why they brought him in. He's a Malaga man through and through. He was good last year, but like I say, he was never really the number one either. He didn't make that spot his own, and I think it might just be a bit of a bridge too far for him. I think he puts it all in, no fault on his attributes, but it just when you're coming up against players at this level who've, like you said, been playing in La Liga regularly, playing international football in some cases.
Yeah.
People joining from the top flight in Portugal, people playing in the top flight of Germany and France. It's a different kettle of fish for him, really, isn't it?
Of course it is. He deserved it. He deserved his new contract on merit. He deserves to be at the club. Maybe more leaning towards the progression of Diego Murillo, maybe, who played very well as a centre half, but also played very well when he first appeared as left back. I'd like to see more of Murillo. Because if you think, I'm not saying he got harsh done by, but in our tricky period throughout November, December, and early January, Murillo really stepped up and he grabbed a couple of Biznagas for us.
Remember the game against Ibiza.
And then he absolutely, the game what I was at, I think it was San Lequeno when they had one of the best strikers in the league, Big Mwepu. He was, the Murillo absolutely played him off the park defensively, tactically, everything. Big, strong lad. And then after that, we never saw him again. Once the injuries started coming back, it was as if he just got plotted back into Malagueño or something. And I thought that they were quite harsh. That
I think this is what worries me about the progress of Murillo, of Musa, for example. We've got our 3, maybe 4 centre back options there, and then you've got these 2 young lads who need to have a pathway. They need to have some way to progress, and they're not because we have to go safe and sound. There's no room for slippages in this league. Otherwise, we're back down the well again. That's the fact of the matter. If we get that bit wrong defensively, we're fucked. So
the thing is, Malaga, regarding if there was a chance of getting relegated, we know our current problems regarding money and so on, but the club seems to have stabilised under Lauren Harrios, and that we don't seem to be that Quique Perez. We don't seem to be in as bad a situation as it could be. However, a relegation back down to that level would receive the loyalty from them in terms of would Quique Perez want to jump ship or something? And if they did, I think we really could be in the shit if that was to happen.
Yeah, I think they've definitely straightened us out. I think there's obviously still some issues to obviously iron out, and there's a lot more that happens off the pitch than probably we even know about. But
yeah,
this is the bit here for Malaga for me. We're 45 minutes in there. We've had a couple of shots on target from distance from the young lads as the referee blows for half time at Riazor. I reckon you've got to hook Rocco here, Luke. Do you reckon?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you've said that because that was a question I was holding back for half time in terms of what do you think. Just firstly, Nick, Matt Butler. Good afternoon, lads. Have I missed anything? Good afternoon, Matt. Yeah, I mean it's 0-0, but you've missed a good, entertaining game. Both teams having chances. Depot probably more, but yeah, going back to what you said then, Nick. I don't see what Rocco brings. We haven't used him as an outlet. I mean, I can't remember seeing him getting his back out, his arms out and holding the ball, bringing players in. He's definitely not had any chances. He's probably the player who I cannot remember doing anything this half.
I don't absolutely agree with you. I think he's currently just taking up a starting spot for me at the minute. I think I get maybe why Pellicer wanted to change the striker this week, but we're not getting anything from him. We're either not playing to his strengths or he's just not playing.
Yeah. I
so
mean,
I think
we've seen La Rubia look dangerous, Antonito's lively, or Acho Maloney in behind, but I don't know. There don't seem to be any runs. I don't know if we've missed anything. If we have, we apologise, but I don't really think we have missed anything. I just don't see what he's bringing to our team currently. I mean, even a Dione, if we can get Dione on, Dione drops a little bit deep, encourages La Rubia, Antonito to make them runs from out wide inland.
Well, look at this stats on the screen at the minute for Malaga. Just one attempt on goal in that first half by La Liga's statistics.
Yeah, that's wrong. Antonito's had one. La Rubia's had at least one.
Yeah, but I think in terms of actual shots on attempts on goal, do you know what I mean? There's the tries beneath it where it says we've had 2 on target and 6 off target. But in terms of moments where we've troubled the goalkeeper, there's only really that one from Antonito in the first half where he's hit the post.
Yeah.
The rest of them saying there. And in comparison, Depor have had 5 goal scoring opportunities according to La Liga here. Again, all of them seemingly to be headers at the back post. That's where they seem to be winning the game at the minute. So, Luke, I now turn to you to put on your Sergio Pellicer trousers. You are looking to make some changes in the second half. What do you think you would do in this situation?
Currently just the one. I would bring Dione on for Rocco for sure. We haven't picked up any. This may sound a bit detailed. We haven't picked up any yellow cards, which is vital. We all know Sergio Pellicer likes to take a player off who's got a yellow card. So I don't see why we'd have to change any of the defence. Luis, he's got to play. He's got to carry on no matter what. Aaron Macho Maloney seems to be pulling the strings going forward. Manu's been relatively quiet, but I don't think in a game like this, Manu has to be the star, if you know what I mean.
No, that's it. And on that note, we are joined by Mr. Matt Harrison, live from a sunny Marbella. Just
I see sunshine.
He's definitely got to stood outside on purpose. Matt, what do you think of that first half performance?
Like good, sort of. Is like I think it's a really good game of football. Actually, it's quite end to end. I don't think there's any clear sort of dominant team. Like, you know, it's sort of, there's not been loads and loads of chances, but I guess a little bit towards the end they were getting a bit more of it. Yes, I think it's been quite an entertaining game of football if you're a neutral. Yeah, I'm sort of happy with how we're playing. I guess my only criticism of us is I think Rocco's quite bad, isn't he?
No, it's as if we all text each other all day. We've been saying how good of a game it's been, and then we've just been discussing Rocco. It's good vibes.
Yeah,
it's very good vibes.
He's bad. I want him to do well. I think Larubia's looked really busy. Like, he's been doing a lot, and like, I'm not saying he's nailed everything, but it's been quite good to see him so involved. I think after not playing much, Manu and Luis me seem to just be there doing quite a lot. Yeah, I just think it's good. Good. So far. It's nothing spectacular.
Are you happy defensively, Alex Pastor?
Yeah, I think he's been okay. I like it. I like, you know, he's mad, but he's yeah, he's not perfect. But no, I can't really pull up any, well, from what I've watched, any like big issues where I'm like, oh shit, this is a mess. Apart from Rocco, to be honest with you, I think we've been okay. Like, obviously they've had chances. Weirdly, I know, like I've said it before, I've always preferred Joaquin to Carlos Burga. Not that I think Carlos Puga is bad, but I think we do look better with Joaquin, actually. Like, watching this, I think he's been good.
Me and Nick were saying, Matt, just regarding the fullback changes, you feel quite confident having Victor at that left back over Danny Sanchez, I think.
Yeah.
Defensively, I totally agree. I think we have been good. I can't see this game ending 0-0 for some reason, whichever way it's going to go.
Yeah, me neither. But then also, I could see it being like 3-3. It's like,
yeah,
it has sort of gone back and forth. But yeah, I think if you're a neutral and you watch 45 minutes of football, it's 0-0. I think this would be a good 0-0.
I think you've just said the words perfectly. I mean, the amount of times this half, me and Nick has said, how the hell is this game 0-0 currently? Yeah. Before the game, I predicted a 2-2. I just thought really rock and roll football. And it has been end to end. It has. I think Depor looked dangerous, but I also think we have looked quite dangerous on the counter attack. It's just we seem to be playing with 10 men, unfortunately, at the moment. You're
just trying to make it rock and roll football so you can use it for the podcast title when Batarina scores, don't you, Luke? That's what we're trying to channel right now. But,
yeah. It's gone. Yeah, we need him to be good just for the podcast puns, definitely. Rocco and roll is. Castell's got a lot of puns in his name. We could do with him scoring.
Currently, I would happily see The Rock come off and bring our roll, the Bocadillo man, get him on.
Yeah, because my shout's out the window already, isn't it? Because I think Chupete played for Malagueño. So that's gone.
Well, like you said, Matt, we've already noted how well Larubi is playing. I think Antonito is also playing quite well.
Yeah, me too.
Is there a place for Kevin in this match, given how wide and expansive the football is at the minute and how end to end it is?
I'd bring him on, actually. I would bring him on for the last 15 minutes or so. I don't know about his fitness or whatever. I actually think our best player is being Aaron. Actually, I think Aaron's been great. I've not even mentioned his name. He's just such a nice, tidy footballer. Or certainly he was our best player for like the first 15, 20 minutes. He's got a bit quieter since, but yeah, he's like amongst that sort of chaotic sort of back and forth. He's the one that was making things happen. And I think he's the guy that played the pass for the Cordero chance to hit the post.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's.
Would you take?
I agree. If Kevin's fit, I'd get him on.
Yeah.
Does that not make you worry so far, though, Matt, for next weekend, where we're already talking about the input that Antonito and Arocho and Maloney have had in this game away at Riazor? We've got Cadiz next week. We're going to be without those two boys. I'm already worried about the next game. Never mind this one without those two in it.
Yeah, I give my impassioned speech on the Guiricast today. I think they should be allowed to play internationals, but yeah, I guess so. That we will miss them. I guess you'd like to think Kevin will take Antonito's place. I guess Aaron's a little bit trickier. Maybe Dione. I don't know, but yeah, it is what it is. I guess.
Are they changes what you would make later on in the game, Matt? Obviously, we haven't got Arocho, Maloney, and Antonito for next week. Do you,
Kevin?
Yeah. Do you try to think about next week later on in the game, or do we think about next week when it actually comes?
What do you mean for this game?
Yeah, regarding say the last 10, 15, are they
I would give Kevin a crack. If again, I don't know fitness if he's on the bench or I'd rather Kevin come on than Lubete, for example, or Ramani. But again, I don't know how fit Kevin is. Rocco's bad. I'd take him off. I'd take him off at half time, to be honest with you.
We've just said the same. We think the exact same.
I guess Dione would be my first choice, but as you guys are aware, and I think the both of you have sort of come along with me with this. I really like Sergio Castel. I don't know if he's fit enough for a half, but I'd get him on at some point too. He's a much more sort of barreling striker than Rocco, I think.
We were saying we were saying in the pre-match build-up, we were saying at what point can you start to not look at his lack of fitness as a problem? He's been in and around the club for 2 months now. They train every single day, maybe with 1 or 2 days off here and there. Is the fitness thing starting to concern you now that is the excuse that's being offered out for Castel?
Well, I guess I don't really know, do I? I'm not in the training ground. He doesn't look like a fat bastard or anything, does he? I'm sure he is pretty fit. I don't know. If he's fit enough, I think of the three. Dione's probably been the best, but he's not prolific. Like I said, I was all for the Chupetti experiment, but that's been shot down already.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't going to be happening. I suppose the sad thing as well is that I think between all three of us and everybody probably watching as well, if we were given half the chance, we'd love to be at Riazor today. We were waxing lyrical, weren't we, Matt, during the week of how much we controversially or not, we quite like Depor. Is that a fair thing to say, especially the Depor of old? But
no, no, I don't like Depor, but I like the old Depor.
The old Depor, yeah. I'm watching Lucas Perez here walk around though in a Kappa kit.
Yeah, he's good. He's been really good actually.
I'm really enjoying him. I'm like, this is good.
We need to sign one old Málaga player. Obviously, we were linked with Samu in the summer and stuff. I think we need one talisman like that. It might do us good, actually. I know we've joked about not trying to sign old players and whatever, but maybe we do need one. Maybe we need. Roque Santa Cruz is still playing out in Paraguay, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, we currently do have one sat on the bench, Matt. Yanis Romani, and this has gone very stable.
I mean more vintage than that.
You never know. Is Isco on the wane yet? Like I said, I know obviously he was having a good time at Real Betis at the start of last year. Has he dropped off yet? Is he afraid to sign?
I think he's a couple of hamstring injuries away still.
Damn it. The fake kit culture that we've seen at Málaga recently as well. Obviously, we've seen a lot of people wearing the old school Kelme kits and things like that. There's a lot of suspicious looking Adidas retro kits.
Producing the green top.
El Diego, el jefe de Peña de Marbella.
Sí,
Hola,
presidente de la Internacional Peña de Marbella. Matt, encantado. Tráelo un día.
Sí.
¿Okay?
¿El partido va a estar ahora?
Sí.
Muy bien o no muy bien?
Y bueno, estamos ahí con músculo todavía.
Vamos, Málaga.
¡Vamos, Málaga!
¡Vamos!
Vamos,
Diego!
Vamos, Diego. I love Diego now.
Diego
Right,
seems
I'm going to go back inside. I'll leave you guys do a proper podcast without me being a dick.
Matt, finally, how much is it for a bottle of Victoria in Marbella Peña?
Lázaro, Lázaro, ¿cuánto cuesta una victoria en el bar? 2.70. 1.60. En vivo en Guiricast. Sí, el jefe de bar, Lázaro.
Hola.
Hola,
Vamos, Málaga.
En 1.70 vale. Sí, en Marbella, 1.70 una victoria.
Sí.
Peña en Málaga.
Muy barato.
Muy barato.
Sí, gracias. Vamos, Málaga.
Vamos.
Vamos. There you go. So 160.
Oh, you lucky man. You lucky
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, so.
Sounds lovely.
Oh, sí, mi amigo, ¿qué tal? En vivo en el Guiricast.
Ok,
Con
Fred.
los guiris.
Málaga,
Hola, amigo.
siempre.
¿Te llamas?
Miguel.
Miguel.
Ok,
Vamos,
my
Málaga.
friend.
There you go. But I'll leave you guys get on to it. I'll get back with my 160 Victorias.
Adios, amigo.
Adios, Matt. Always nice to see. Always nice to see. You just want to be there, don't you? Just
real
no
jealousy.
one speaks Spanish to here, and it's just like it's so boring.
I don't know if you've seen this, Nick, but there's a double substitution. What's happened for Malaga?
Yes, I saw Dione came on the pitch. Obviously, I assume Rocco has been sacrificed, rightly so.
Just trying to find out who the other player actually is.
Hopefully, it'll pop up on the screen in a second. It's not come up on my phone at the minute, but there was definitely a second player down there. I would say I'm just trying to look at the pitch right now, but everyone's in such big bloody pixelated squares that it's going to be impossible to tell you. As it ball comes in behind there, Perez with the shot, good defending that from Monte. Monte's having a great game. It's a Marino. It's a Marino. It's on for. I think Luismi is the one who's gone off. I think I'll have to double check. Oh no, I can see Luismi there. There's his hat.
It may be Manu, you know.
Could be Manu, to be fair. I'm just trying to look now. Let's have a little look on the.
Even the Malaga Twitter hasn't got this on yet.
Yeah.
Sorry, yes, it's Manu, Nick. Manu and Rocco off. He's on Moreno and Dione on. So currently we have, what is it, 2 17-year-olds and an 18-year-old playing away in Riazor. I love that. I love that kind of stuff. I do. And
obviously, Joaquin as well is also not an old head. He's a very young man at the start of his career. So investing in a lot of youth there is all Pellicer. It's broken for Aaron Ochoa Maloney coming off the outside of the box, threads it through to Antonito. Not quite
maybe
the
a little
right
bit too
ball.
forced. Maybe a bit too forced.
Yeah, I would have gone for it then. Like, you know, cocky Nick Bell with the foot like a traction engine. I would have. It opened up for him, and I can see what he was looking to do. But you know, if it's a bit too much for Antonito to get on the end of that, or even a bit too tight to play it through to Dione, why not have a fucking pop from 30 yards? Why not?
It's I think it's the modern day football thing, isn't it? A lot of players don't seem to shoot. Big chance for his and Moreno. I think we've all been calling for it. We want to see more of him. He's obviously lost his place in the Spanish under-19s team. I really want to see the guy in this in a team when doable.
Yeah, he's a really good option for us, especially as a defensive midfielder, the way that he's built. But we saw him come on against Huesca as well as like a right mid when Hightam went off injured after only a few minutes, and he's a really canny footballer. Like, that is a brilliant ball. That's
a great ball.
Stretching it for Cordero to chase, and is he just managing to get that? No, he's had the other
unlucky.
But you can just see that sense of how he plays. He's opened up his body and he's looked for the wide ball out. It's clever.
They're fearless. They're fearless. These young lads are fearless. Really are. Seeing there, Matt Butler, 160 euros for that bottle, and what our Matt is drinking. Like you say, Nick, he's jealous. You're watching the guy stood there in the sunshine, speaking fluent Spanish with his several Victorias, I imagine.
It's awful, isn't it?
I mean, like I say, it's not raining here, but looking out back, it's not the best of sights.
I'm not going to go and chance it down Blackpool Beach this afternoon. Let's put it that way. Like I say, I'm not too far from the sea where I am. It's only about I want to say about 8, probably not even 8 mile that way, about 6 mile that way. But I won't be getting the sun lounger out. Let's put it that way. The heating's on here. Let's put it that way.
Matt Butler again, just asking: Do any of us have any plans for any games soon? We both do, actually. My most recent plan has been squashed. I was hoping for Levante away. The game's been put on a Monday night, so I have zero chance. But I believe we're both on holiday, Nick. I'm away in Portugal next week. Are you the week after? Is it?
Yeah, week after that, I am across to Paris to surprise the little one with a trip to Disney. But I was hoping to get a game in November. However, we're both married, aren't we, Luke? Not to each other. Just
I'm going to say, let's
just to caveat that there. We're both
community, but
just to separate people. And I've got like I say, we're doing that in October. I've got 2 Scotland international rugby matches in November. So I thought, oh, we're through here. We're through. Oh, for fuck's sake! How's that not gone in?
Corner ball, Málaga. David Arubi again looking very dangerous.
It is, that's just fallen for a minute. Again, Marino with the lovely little jinx, cut back, shot, and great defending, to be fair. He just sticks a leg out.
I like it.
Basically just ricochets it over the bar, but it's a corner for Málaga now, straight after the restart. But as I was saying, sorry, Matt, plans for a game soon. Almeria I've pinned my hope on, so I've booked my flight. £42 from Liverpool Airport, Friday to Sunday. If the La Liga gods are with us, they'll put that game on either a Saturday night or a Sunday afternoon, and we can go and watch some Malaga football. And I think you're Santander.
I'm currently the game before, which is Racing at home on the 23rd of November. And then I am hopeful of Almeria away as well as Depot come on the counter. He goes down and he's given a penalty.
It's a big challenge from Hockey in there. I think it's Lucas Perez who is on the ground at the minute. Gabilondo rightly gestating thing. I think it is a penalty to the letter of the law. He's obviously running away from goal. He's miles away from having a goal scoring opportunity. Actually,
no, I don't know.
It's soft to me, that.
No chance. It
looks a bit soft.
No chance.
He's already on the ground, but it's. I don't know. I've seen him given. Will he go to VAR though?
We shouldn't be getting caught out from there anyway. It came from Malaga's corner. The keeper's caught it, kicked it clear, and then. That's
nothing. That's
not
nothing.
Unless he's caught him right, that is not a penalty in a million years. I think VAR actually getting involved here. I think, Nick.
Hopefully, too right they are. I don't. That's not a. This is the grey area, isn't it? Like you say, it doesn't. It's a bit like yesterday. I don't know if you saw the Calvert-Lewin and Dan Burn penalty incident where. It looked, for all intents and purposes, that Dan Burn had absolutely cropped Calvert-Lewin in the box, but it's actually Calvert-Lewin kicked the back of the leg of Dan Burn. Whereas for me, this looks a bit similar.
I think he's overturning this, Nick.
Yeah, it's like he's ran into his knee.
So
Gabilondo's committed.
Our first live stream screen, guys. We are currently going to VAR.
There we go. He's wanting to have a little look. But he ain't fucking seeing any bloody television from over there. What's he doing?
What is he doing? I mean, this is going to be some size TV if he's going to watch it from there.
He's got a 300-inch on the side of the pitch.
Currently making his way over to the screen now. I honestly cannot see this as a penalty. I really can't. It's very rare that they do go to the screen and stand on their decision, don't they?
Yeah, I think, like you say, Hockey's committed to the challenge and he's on the floor, but he's actually not touched him after he's gone down. And it's more for me that Perez runs into his knee, so he's not caught his leg. It's more like look where Perez's foot lands there.
He stands on Joaquin.
Yeah, he stood on Joaquin there. Joaquin's pulling his legs back out.
How
I
far
don't
does Joaquin
see how it's
slide?
gonna be-
Like Joaquin slid about 3.5 miles there.
Yeah, I'm completely with you, Luke. Here, this isn't a penalty for me.
Can't be. Guys in the comments, if anybody is watching the game, penalty, no penalty for yourselves. Drains are
No penalty. No penalty.
Well done, well done, VAR, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely spot that there.
Drains are us LTD, any live streams of the game. Unfortunately, there's not really, mate. If you go on Bet365, there is other betting companies, I imagine, but we do watch on Bet365. You need a little bit of money in your account, could be 5 pence, 5, whatever. The game is on live there, and every Segunda game will be on there live. So it's not perfect, but it's very up to date. It's as things happen, being a betting site. And
to be fair,
that is justice. That's justice.
Yeah, knock on wood as well. I bought a $5 at the start of the year. I hadn't spent it yet, and I've still been.
Yeah, you've done very well. I mean, I could put a $5 in now, and I'd spend it before the end of this game.
We've not been too bad. So, in theory, I've saved money from our time watching FEF TV. That was £10 a month, wasn't it?
And we have our first player into the book, Aaron Maloney.
Maloney with the Tarjeta Amorillo.
Yeah, that's the one. Just looking at our bench, Nick, I very like the Izan Moreno move, because when you look at it, we've got Juanpe on the bench, we've got Sangale on the bench, we've got players of the experience. But for me, I know you guys have been fans of Sangale, or as the player in there. I'm not a fan of either Sangale or Juanpe. I don't think they really bring anything.
No, which is such weird, because we've seen glimpses of them both. Like when we came out the end of the Racing de Ferrol game, and the way we saw Juanpe play, we're like, fucking hell, where's he been the last 2 years? Do you know what I mean? Like, he looked like a player who'd rediscovered himself, and then ever since then, he's not really hit the level at all. And I think for the way that Pellicer plays, that midfield trio is such an important cog in his machine that he really needs to trust the players he's putting in there. Yeah. And I just don't think he has that with both Sangale and Juanpe at the minute, which is why he's resorting to putting on Moreno. Whereas you'd think Sangale, especially given his age and his experience, he'd be all over that.
Yeah. I mean, I dare say, without knowing everybody's contracts and stuff like that, I bet Juanpe and Sangale aren't a million mile off some of our better earners, because when we signed them, they both got given contracts, didn't they? I think they're both 3 or 2 year apiece.
Well, I think especially Juanpe, given where he came from, because obviously he came down into.
He came from Lugo, didn't he?
Lugo, yeah. So, and he was a starter for Lugo. Again, given the number 8 shirt, like he has been given here. Yeah. He seemed, for all intents and purposes, like he was going to be an integral part of the machine, but he just wasn't for us. And, I look at Luismi in there now, not forgetting as well, we've also got Danny Lorenzo, who I assume is on the bench this afternoon.
Yeah, good player, Danny Lorenzo, as well.
So we've got the options in there for us as Malaga concede the corner now. Both, you know what, this fucks me off about football players nowadays. Both Meyer and Jeremy sporting silver hair. Silver hair as well. I'm just looking at it thinking, you look like a prick. That's where to be honest, isn't it? It's like they're going, fucking, I get it. You're excitable, you're young, but you look like a knobhead.
I mean, if there's anybody in the comments who has got that particular hairstyle at the moment, we don't think everybody looks a knobhead. It's just mixed views.
You imagine someone's at home there like that with their fresh dyed silver and cut in the same style as Herrero's going.
He's sat there currently with he's sat there currently with the cap on.
Yeah. Actually, that's what I've got under here, to be fair. You can't actually tell, but underneath the cap.
Yeah. He's just getting a feel for people's views of the haircut before he releases it.
Well, to be fair, here's another one as well, because Pastor turned up in Malaga this summer with a full bleach blonde.
Yeah, it's a weird fringe that now, isn't it? I don't get the fringe.
Yeah, and now he's got a brown hair with a silver quiff. I'm like, why?
Very, very Bar Brussels, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I'll tell you what. I think if we doubt the statistics on Malaga's attendances from time to time, there's lots of empty seats in the Riazor today. But I imagine it'll still be reported that there's 28,000 off from there. I can't quite remember off the top of my head what the capacity of the stadium is. I think it's 35. But plenty of places if you were looking for a spare seat. Obviously, only 500 Malaga fans there today as well, Luke, officially. We are told that it's not a place you would go and sit in the home end in a Malaga shirt, unlike other places we've been through this season. And we've not really seen anything of the Malaga fans so far in this match on the stream, have we?
No. Earlier on, I had the volume was still playing on my device, and you could hear Una Hitana Loca early on, which is a great sign, obviously, against a big rival with a cracking supporter base. If you can still hear them Malaga fans out there. These are going down so easy in this box. I'll tell you what.
Look at this here. Marino just standing up his man and Jeremy just diving onto the floor.
Whatever happened to players getting booked for trying to cheat, for trying to dive? Is that not a thing in it? I mean, Lucas Perez, I'm not saying that every non-penalty is a dive, but why is he not getting booked? He knew exactly what he was doing there. And this Jeremy, I mean, that's pathetic, that.
Yeah, this Jeremy, he seems to have got. I don't want to appear harsh, but it's this kind of like young arrogance, maybe, where he's looking just to sell it a little bit. Obviously, he'll be bloody flying high on the back of last week's result on his brace and how well he performed. He was named in the team of the week as well for La Liga. You know, good little footballer, but you know, I'd rather him. This is my argument with that. I'd rather him be a bit like Antonito and get his head down and run at people rather than looking for a cheap penalty like that. It's just, and rightly so, Hocking putting him on his arse there. You know,
it's completely different levels of football, styles of football, everything. But if that Jeremy's standing there dancing with the ball in front of me now after doing that, I'm putting him in one place.
Yeah.
And he's up in them stands. The next chance I get a chance.
No, the dark arts.
Seems to have. Obviously, we've had a huge talking point, Nick, but it's an hour on the clock now, and you think the game as Depor come forward, Malaga defended relatively well to start with, the ball's coming back in. Half a chance for Depor, but has the game gone a bit dry compared to the start of the first half, or are we still expecting goals?
I don't think it's as open as it was before, Luke. I think at the minute it's Depor, which are looking most likely to score. Unfortunately, we brought Dione on, but I don't think I can say again that he's having the desired effect that Rocco Baturina had in the first half. It seems we're just not getting anybody near that central striker. And this is why I've been saying that we need to, have a bit of a 4-4-2 maybe. Yeah. It's all well and good having these young lads running around and putting balls in the box, but if there's just one person to aim for, and again, I'm not saying this as criticism, but we've already said this season we're not blessed with the most talented of strikers in this division.
No,
it's pretty pointless, isn't it? Whereas if you had two of them up there causing a bit of a nuisance, then this could work. Like in theory, Depor are down as a 4-4-2 today. Don't get me wrong. Lucas Perez is playing off Barbera, but they're a partnership, and I think that's the bit that we're missing for me. It's what you sacrifice, I suppose. But
over the years, when football's changed, tactics, all that kind of stuff, where this one up front has come in, I've played striker many times when I used to play and all that lot. And you need a second striker with you at professional levels. I'm not a huge fan of the one up front. I know every single team in the world these days has to play one up front. I don't get it. Surely your better chance of scoring is when you've got two men up there. You've got something to build on. I know there's many great teams, and there's many great teams who play with one up front. The old Man United from 90s, they had two wingers, someone who put the ball in and someone who drove at defenders. You had two goal scorers in the middle. Now all this shit where you've got to have one up front and then you've got to have an 8 and a 6 and a 3 and all this crap. It's not football. It's robotic. Play two men in middle. There's going to be a time, Nick, and I always say this, because there's going to be a time where a Guardiola or something buys a 7-foot striker he goes 2 up front and he plays a bit more direct, it's going to work and he's going to become a god again. Football is not it's a simple sport when you want it to be a simple sport.
Well, the thing is, you can play 4-4-2 and still be expansive. You can still play 2 holding midfielders, 2 wingers
more
in a
expansive.
4-4-2. I just never quite understand this. Yes, if you've got a Haaland or a Kane, or going back a few years ago, Lewandowski, and you've got the players who can play as second strikers as wingers as well. Great. You're playing Spanish second-tier football. We do not have that.
Play to your strength.
We just need to have a bit of reality about it and say, well, I'll tell you what, if I've got 2 goal scorers, you can score 10 each a season. I'm scoring 20 goals. That's half the job. Do you know what I mean?
The worrying thing for us is I don't think we've got a 10-goal season strike. Something I half creatively came up with at half-time when we're looking at changes, and it was never, ever, ever going to happen. One, Kevin's not fit enough for a half of football, I don't think yet. But I think Antonito can do a job through the middle. I really do. So if you could play like as a 4 of La Rubia, Adam, Joe Maloney, Kevin, then Antonito up front.
I think Antonito, if I remember rightly, I might need to be corrected on this, but I think with Malagueño, he was a striker. I think he was a man up top. I think that's what he always was, and then he's been slowly morphed into a winger, and that's where his positions seem to be. But we're looking to change things around here, and I'm just seeing now that we've brought off. I think Aaron or Larubia is the one who's been replaced. And I want Romani to do well. That's my thing. But I don't see him being the answer. That is the problem here. He's not going to score you the goal. Whereas if we had Dione and Castell on together with 2 wingers, whether it's Romani or Larubia or Antonito, whoever, statistically, you're making yourself a lot more better. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
For me now, Imri, I thought, Castell is not coming on. We're not going to go 2 up front here. I don't think Sergio's going to. He's got that in him, if you know what I mean. I expect Kevin, if he's got some kind of fitness, to probably come on for Antonito, and probably Danny Lorenzo for Alubia if he's gone into the centre. I can't see why we can't go 2 up front here. These haven't got a great home record or anything. I just don't think Sergio's got that in him, if you know what I mean. It would be a bold move.
This is going to be one of the things that we're looking at here. This as a game doesn't scream to me that we should be right. Let's try and shut up shop and play on the counter attack and see if we can snatch a goal. At the minute, or certainly it was in the first half, you're looking at it thinking, well, actually, these are here to be got at defensively. Yeah, they're having a great time going forward, but in behind, there's an opportunity. So just confirming it was Aaron Maloney who did get substituted there. So again, looking at that, thinking, why? He's actually been our bright spot. I know he's maybe dulled a little bit in this second half, but
he's 17 years old. Fatigue, anything. The one change I am slightly concerned will happen now, Nick, after seeing that poor cross, but Victor's not played a lot of football. Is Danny Sanchez going to be the move to come in at left back? I hate changes like that, I do, but it's probably going to happen, isn't it?
It is. And Michael Phillips puts it spot on there. 4-4, fecking 2, Mike Bassett. That's what I want to see.
A quote from one of the best films we've got.
So Kevin Quirk here as well, saying Pellicer going back to try not to get beat first and a result second.
Yeah.
Which, again, you can see the logic of, but it's, again, these guys, it's not necessarily required. We could easily beat these, surely. Just looking at it, just looking at the way this game has been played. Like I say, going forward, they have been quite adventurous. Those 2 wingers are a real handful, and they're your threats. Lucas Perez again has also been really, really good, but in the back 4 for them, they've not been that great.
No, I mean, like we said earlier, I would take a point before the game. I would still take a point now. But there's 3 points here to be taken if Malaga want to just show that a little bit more ambition. Again, whether that's going 2 up front or anything, but this Deportivo where they are for a reason. They're not you expect a Granada and Almeria to do better in the course of the season. This Deport's not going to be a million mile away from where Malaga are. No chance.
No, they won't be. And it's a double change for Deport as well. Sariano coming on, and I'm just trying to think who the other player was there. I didn't quite see him. Herrera up top, the former Las Palmas striker, who I think is on for Barbero, I think. And it's just saying that I can't quite read it, but I'm sure that says there's 21,000 in that.
21 to me, which is a poor crowd, really, for these.
Yeah, very low for Deport so far this season, given that as well they've also got 27,000 season ticket holders. So
yeah, they've got all these magical season ticket holders, what we've all got, haven't they? And they just don't seem to go to games and stuff like that. But like Matt Butler says there, always play not to lose first when away. And in Segunda, more than any league in the world, I think, well, championship kind of thing, Segunda, any point on the road is for me a great point.
It is good. It is good. I can see us here. Ooh, that's down low. Thank God that there was no one in around that. But Sariano with a shot from distance, testing
the situation Malaga are currently in now. There's still 25 minutes left, but we need to show a little bit more ambition, because the later the game goes on, if Deport are to nick it, I don't know, 80th minute. I know there were the dramas in Granada, but we've seen Malaga all over plenty of times. The later we concede, we haven't really got that reply. If Malaga can get that first, if Malaga can somehow get that first goal, apply the pressure to Deport. I mean, we're just noticing there, Nick, we're playing, it's worked, but we're playing such a high line, really high line in their half. In our half, sorry, nearly their half. But again, there's space for Malaga. The amount of times we are turning, it's just like now when Antonito's getting the ball, is there much to hit, or are we just wasting things?
I'm trying to see who this is here. I'm trying to remember who's got the orange boots on, whether it's La Rubia or whether that's Marino. But for me, I'm looking at that, and it is looking more like a 4-4-2 potentially, or at least sort of like someone's getting closer to Dione there. I can't tell who it is, though, to be fair, whether it's La Rubia or Marino.
I think it's moving like La Rubia. Again, the stream what we're on is a blurry stream, so that's why.
Oh, that's a chance.
That's a better delivery. That's the delivery we want.
That's a great ball from Victor. That's what we know about Victor. That is properly in the fucking sweet spot.
That is what a number 9 wants, and it's a big chance. It's a big chance. Maybe Ramani's not the player to be wanting that position, I guess, but fantastic ball, and we need more of that.
Brilliant. But and to be fair to Romani, he does really well to cut across his man and get his head on it. It's obviously just a shame about the how much he makes contact with it. But Malaga seemingly have their tails up now a little bit, winning the ball back high. Good football. Dione.
Drive. Let's have a shot.
More
it's better for Malaga. Better. They seem to up the tempo a little bit.
It is.
Kev Quirk having to go back to work. Hopefully we can get the win for next time. Check Vamos Malaga. Enjoy your shift, Kev. It'll be a little less stressful than this, I believe.
Oh, Dione with the cut back there and there. That's poor. Though he's trying to just pivot the ball.
That's where we do struggle. We do seem to struggle in that area.
So it seems like a lack of ideas when we get into in around the 8-yard box, isn't it? But
exactly that.
Depot down the other end now. Meyer taking on Luis Victor is caught out, and a great save from Alfonso Herrero.
Too easy though.
Left-hand side, but
too easy for me getting around him and getting that shot off. You can see from a million mile away he's wanting to get the ball on that left peg. But Herrero again, and I'll tell you, we're getting more bored by the week of giving Alfonso Herrero biznagas, but for stuff like that again,
it's vital into how well he does with things like that. But it's a great chance for Depot. They've got a corner from this, and that's again come from us attacking here, Luke. But ball is whipped in and well dealt with by Malaga. That'll go for a goal kick.
Oh, we'll take that.
Yeah, we'll definitely take that. But
with 20 minutes to go, in terms of our actual play, we do need to be a little bit more ambitious, I think. But when the ball's out of play, away in Rio Thor, I think this is where a little bit of the dark arts needs to come in. Take a bit of time. You know, let's cement that point. if we don't win, we don't lose. I think that's the key thing that's come out of this remaining 20 minutes.
We don't lose, and that's the big thing. Like Michael Phillips says there, agree the point here today is a bloody good point. It's what we would have taken at the start of the match as well. I think we all would have been in agreement with that. But
for me, after
you're saying, Luke, there's still something in this for me. There's still something happening in this game.
For me, after the disaster last week against Elche, to then respond, yes, granted it's 0-0, but to go to a ground like this and come away with a point, I think that's a great, a great reaction. I mean, this could go tits up if Depor score. Then that's 2 losses on bounce, and we've not scored a single goal in them 2 games. So we are very much on a knife edge at the moment.
Well, this is the thing that Matt was alluding to in the middle of the week, where we're seeing who we've played so far, and we've had some tough games. We've had some big opposition to come up against, but we're getting into sort of like the thing part of it. And there's another great save from Alfonso Herrero.
Come on, boys, let's sharpen up here.
It's inside for him, but it's his body that's taking it. Herrera with the chance. He's going to be thinking, how on earth have I missed that? Great save with the body from Herrera there.
Are you thinking changes at all, Nick? Depending on fitness-wise, I think I'd like to see Danny Lorenzo for his energy in there. Maybe for La Rubia. Obviously, he's not played too much football as of late.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good swap. I agree with what you and Matt were saying before about getting Kevin involved. I think he got a lot of running in for this match, giving 15 minutes towards the end.
Right now, Nick, it's 5-on-5 here. Come on, Málaga. Hakeem out wide. Should have whipped it in early there.
Take the corner.
We'll take the corner. Málaga corner kick, 75 minutes.
Yeah, and I would Castell as well, I think.
Yeah.
We've just got to persevere and get him on the pitch, because when he does go on the pitch, he does do positive things. And I think, he's a man with an eye for goal. Who you would take off in that scenario, I'm not too sure, because you'd have to maybe
take the only off.
Well, no, I think the only off. It's either, like you say, you take La Rubia off for Castell or La Rubia off for Kevin or for whoever it might be, but that seems to be the one. Daniel Lorenzo and go to a flat, 2 in centre midfield, but I doubt that's going to happen. I don't think that we'd risk it at this moment in time. Especially going with a midfield of 2 essentially defensive midfielders as well.
Yeah. See, I know it's different seasons and stuff like that, but say if we ended up with Depor last season in the playoffs, you would have taken a 0-0 draw away in Riyadh, wouldn't we?
Well, that's it. You're up against a different kind of Depor now, isn't it? I've got no 2 doubts that the mentality hasn't changed, but they're thinking a little bit differently, aren't they, nowadays? But some lovely football on the inside here. Oh, fucking hell! What a save! Keeper!
How's he saved that?
I tell you what, if Alfonso Herrera had done that, we'd be bloody absolutely milking it. That is a brilliant save.
It's like he's came way off the line. David La Rubia from the edge of the area on his right foot.
Yeah.
Fantastic save, really.
Brilliant save. Credit where credit's due. It's a great effort from Málaga as well.
77 minutes, corner ball to Málaga. Malaga's coming on top a little bit more now. Cordero with the ball. Keeper deals with it well. And now this is the danger where Depor come on. This is where the penalty nearly came from. It's 4-on-3. This is shit from Málaga, to be fair. You should never be in that situation. It's straight into Herrera's hands. But that's poor, that, Nick. You've got 3 defenders coming back. They've got 4 bursting a gut. We're just going to relax mode as now Málaga go on the counter. It is playoff football. It seems like playoff football, this. I just think sometimes with Málaga, they need to just be a bit more savvy, use the head. You don't get caught 4-on-3 with 10 minutes to go.
No, or certainly not try to. Let's put it that way. Still a goal in this for me. I couldn't tell you which way it's going to go at the minute. Obviously, hopefully it would go Malaga's way, but
as we mentioned earlier in it regarding, Pereiro's made some great saves in this second half. I'm not overly into stats, but the XG, they've got it as Depor as 0.84 and Malaga as 0.56. Thought Depor's may have been a little bit higher, but I suppose Ferrero's saves have come from distance.
Yeah. Well, here they come again.
Malaga give the ball away. Depor coming through now.
Good defending.
That's better defending. I said, it's been one of the better 0-0 games I've watched. As Malaga stupidly give the ball away again. Attack from Depor, rubbish effort. But we they need to, as Herrero shouting at the defense now, just slow it down a little bit. I mean, that's a good save, Nick, but is that a camera save?
I
know it's slow motion.
Sure. I think slow-moing it down always makes it look more emphatic than it was, but he's still got to react.
It's looking like he could bring it down on his chest or something.
I suppose you can only save what's in front of you, can't you?
Exactly. 10 minutes to go in Riazor, 0-0. As Kevin's came on the pitch somehow. I'm guessing for Antonito. But I texted in the group chat this morning, Kevin is going to have a massive say in this game. And at 0-0 as he's coming on, I'm sticking by it. As it is, Antonito's came off for Kevin.
It's probably a right move as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. As Kevin gets his first involvement here, driving at the defender. Oh, having a shot away, and it's a great impact from him straight away. I mean, if you think about it, Nick, obviously, Kevin scored that fantastic goal in Ferrol. It started the season lively. Then, unfortunately, again, his season stalled with how long's been out for? 5 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
Yeah, about four weeks now. Yeah, so he's got a chance to come back and do something. He started positively as well. Definitely one of the bright sparks, wasn't he?
I mean, you're looking at Kevin. He's still a young player, but he's an experienced player. When you look back to, he was here with Brandon Thomas and players like that, and then he went out on loan to Portugal for a season, came back to us last year. He's got to have, you're talking 100 career appearances under his belt.
He's certainly getting there. Mike says, what minute are we on? We've just come up to 80 minutes now, just as Louise Me's got the unenviable chance of chasing. Oh, Perez there with the effort. Yeah. That is the Malaga living dangerously.
Luis Me takes a yellow card there.
Well, you think so. Like I say, we had the unenviable task of chasing a very young Jeremy there. That's like me on Sunday League a few years ago when I'm just I'm too old now to be chasing this little prick. That's the way Louise Me should be feeling. He should be whapping off his helmet and just
yeah.
As Umfulu is being replaced now with Rado coming on for Depor. And I think maybe is Lucas Perez coming off? No, he's not. He's continuing, but he'll be thinking, how have I missed that?
Yeah.
That was a big effort for them, wasn't it?
Could he have kept the ball moving there, to the player on the right? Were he maybe in a better
position? Like there was a chance for Mayer, wasn't there?
Yeah, if you're Depor's talisman and all that, I suppose you hit that, though. If it's on your left foot, he's hitting that. As now Malaga come on the counter-attack once more. Gione, I think it's no move,
but Malaga's number 11.
Kevin again causing danger out here.
Romani with the very long cross. That is a very good. Will this be kept in? Just almost.
Really? It seems like Ramis is the signing we all felt we needed and wanted, and it's early doors. Don't get me wrong; it's very early doors, but I'm struggling to see what's ahead for Romani.
I think when you look at it on paper, you want it to be the signing that we had in the COVID years. The player we had from Almeria on loan. Unfortunately, I don't think it's the same player we've got the minute. But it's all that old anecdote, in it, Luke. Form is temporary, class is permanent. So there's got to be a moment where it must click for him. But the thing is, in a world where, you look at some of these Depor wingers, for example, and would I have Mayer and Jeremy in my team? Absolutely, I would. They look a lot more explosive than the options that we have. Maybe the exception of Antonito, but Romani's maybe a bit more like us than we know, Luke.
I think Romani is coming across as a player what we've already got, someone who wants to slow the ball down, get it back onto his favoured left foot rather than actually. I mean, Kevin can be direct. He can be very good at going direct, but there's still Kevin's got. I've used this similarity a million times. The Grealish slow the ball down, slow it, and keep control of it rather than actually. Is he through? Actually driving at a defender. Better from Málaga though, as long as we don't get caught. That is the main thing. We cannot get caught here.
This is the thing, and I suppose when you do start to go towards the point, we're into that last 10 minutes here in Coruña, then you think just try and keep the ball for a bit.
Yeah. One thing I can say, Nick, with the subs, I can't really fault any of the subs again from Sergio.
No, I'd probably say that as well. I've actually been impressed with Isa Moreno, to be fair. I think he's given a good account of himself so far. Again, showing why he's another viable option to play plenty of football.
Again, it probably goes under the radar a little bit, but we've got teenagers, 3 very good teenagers playing in one of the biggest, the most valued grounds in Spanish football, and you wouldn't think they were 17 years old.
No, but you could say the same about Deportivo as well, to be fair, with their young wingers, and I think their centre mid as well is also quite a young man in the grand scheme of things. But obviously they've got that experience with Lucas Perez. I suppose he is more of a star signing, but in theory, I suppose he's no different to a Dione in terms of he's a local boy who's come back to play for his hometown club after a somewhat illustrious career elsewhere. You don't become the top scorer in the 3rd division by being a shit.
I mean, don't get me wrong. After watching,
dear, that's a bit nasty. That one there. Kevin
after
there with a hand
watching
to the face by the looks of things.
After watching Lucas Perez again today, yes, he's not scored or anything, but he can still do a job in La Liga, I think.
Oh no, 2 doubts about it. And I think from a Cardiff perspective, when he left and they replaced him with from Lugo, it's just not the same caliber of player, and I think that's ultimately why Cardiff have.
It's like we were saying earlier. We need to find that romance of a player to come. Well, we've got Samuel Castillejo who's been trying. Is he the world beater they're making him out to be? I don't really know, but we're all holding out for Isco. I know we are.
Yes, we are, yes.
Eventually, we all want that. But, I mean, Depot landed on a gold mine, didn't they, with Lucas Perez? And you see it, I mean, Oviedo with Santi Cazorla. You see it in Spain where players do come back to the originality.
Yeah, they do. It happens in England as well. We had Brett Ormerod at Blackpool once upon a time.
Hey, we've just got Donny's just got Billy Sharp back, King Billy.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. It's still happening, but yeah, I think that would be the one, wouldn't it? And I think it would have to be the one. I don't think there's really anybody else who's had that kind of cultural imprint on Malaga in the last 15, 20 years over the next, especially like say hometown boy. I know he's obviously from Benalmádena, isn't he? But it's as good as
you think of an iconic Malaga shirt. It's like Owen says earlier. It is the 2012 Isco Champions League shirt. If Malaga signed an injured,
retire.
Yeah, if Malaga signed an injured Isco, who never played or anything, but just think of the shirt sales. We met millions.
Well, it's like you've just said. It's what Carzola's done at Real Oviedo. He does play good football, to be fair, and he does get involved. But he is at the very twilight of his career. I think he's 39 now. Some lovely interplay from Depor there, but ultimately nothing to show for it. As Malaga can try and come away now through Dione.
That's a foul, isn't it?
Dione just looks a different player at this level.
He looks a bit of a tank. As Malaga are about to make their last sub, and it's Lucas Angale coming on. Somebody's just gone down. I'm guessing it's La Rubia.
I think it looks like La Rubia. I'm just seeing that does look like a double digit. Definitely
he's had a good game today, though, David La Rubia.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Obviously, not great to see him on the floor like this. Given
I'm thinking it's just cramp, Nick. I'm thinking it's just cramp. Yeah, they don't look too concerned.
Or retire. I think Isco would return one day. If especially if Malaga are on the up. Let's say this season we finish mid-table, and then all of a sudden, Isco's, he's not got many offers on the table, or because let's not forget this is Isco until Pellegrini took a chance on him. Was without a club for ages, wasn't he? He didn't have a team. He almost signed for Union Berlin, which sounds like he's dodged a massive bullet there. Yeah, it's interesting. After he left Seville, it was after he left Sevilla. Sorry, it was going to be what we do.
You've just said it there yourself, Nick. I mean, it shows how much of a legend he is at Malaga. A player that can go on and play for Sevilla and Real Betis, and the fans still don't hate him. There's not many players who that's going to happen with.
He's only got one more place he can go, maybe, and if he decides to go to Cadiz over Malaga,
that could be bad.
Then that might really test things. But
this is a great chance now, Nick. We're touching the 90th minute mark. Malaga with a free kick, which Kevin's going to take from 30, 40 yards out. If this delivery can be good, players like Dione in the centre, we've got a chance here. It's all about that delivery.
It is. Will it be good? Oh, it is. Oh, it is quite good. I think it was Pastor who got his head on that.
It's another chance.
It's slicked off his quiff. It's the hair dye. It's fucked it. He had a proper haircut. He would have nailed that.
So what we're thinking, I mean, the VAR decision, subs.
Yeah, I think
you might get 6 minutes out of this, maybe.
Yeah, I reckon 5. Probably too bad.
I suppose they've done it all off, and it's kind of worked. I mean, we've been open, but again, just there, it's shown you how we're playing such a high line still. To be doing that on 90th minute, I happily see Malaga drop 10 yards.
I think this has been a thing for our season as well, though, Luke. Like I say, we seem to the theme seems to be we have first halves where we play some really good football, expansive, impressive, and then the second half we don't seem to be as up for it.
No.
Like, there's not a game I can look back and watch and say, oh, we were much better in the second half of that game than we were in the first half.
No.
Do you know what I
mean? Maybe the one, and unfortunately it's the only game I've missed in the last 2 years or whatever because I was camping, but the Albacete with 10 men. But that's a performance of a different elk, innit? That's more of a passionate, dig deep kind of performance.
It is 5 minutes of extra time here in the Riazor as well.
Free kick to Malaga, offside for Depor. Guys, in the comments, you've had mine and Nick's views, and you'll get them again shortly. But is this a good point away in Riazor? Does it avenge some of last week's disaster, or is this 3 points lost?
Yeah,
I think we put it in everything, Nick. But I mean, when you look at their chances and the saves Herrero's made, it's more of a good point than we've lost 3 points. I don't think we've lost 3 points today, if you know what I mean.
No, I think like say both goalkeepers will be happy with the saves that they've made. I think we've said it before. Pellicer will be content with the way his team is set up and performed defensively in this match.
Yeah,
and Depor will be happy with how attacking they've been at times, but again, have flattered to deceive defensively. So I think this is a fair result on the bones of it. I still think there is a goal in it. I have this feeling at the minute, and I don't know which way it's going to go, but I just sense that somebody is going to be going home disappointed this afternoon.
Strange that Depor they've got two lads about to come on, and you're thinking, well, when there's 3 minutes left, it's just a weird at home to make a double change with 3 minutes, unless you're really going for it and you're chucking 2 centre forwards right in the mix or something. Good defending, a great tackle.
Could well be, but it doesn't seem like they're going to have long.
Struggling to just see what's actually going off here. Romani with a fantastic tackle. And then Malaga's got the throw-in from it. So, eating away that time as Depor are making the double sub. I think it's young Jeremy coming off. I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, and then it's another idiot who's decided to get his hair dyed
Yeah,
right.
the barbers in La Coruña currently have definitely got a particular haircut.
He must have one look. He must go, oh yeah, you're here for the mullet with the grey dye. Yep, okay, we can do that. Yep, no worries. Oh, this is one for Kevin to chase. It's a good foot race here. Can he keep it in? No, he cannot.
I remember looking up in the comments earlier, Michael Phillips. I've got silver hair, but I'm 63 and it's natural. That haircut's fine, Michael.
Fine, Mike. You wear it well, Mike. You wear it well. And Mohamed Baldini. Now, is he the Mohamed Baldini
Striker.
that was? Yeah, he was at Fuenlabrada a few years ago. Did he go to Levante as well, though?
He did. He ended up at Levante, I think. Or there's a Baldini there.
He followed Nafti, didn't he? Nafti went to from Fuenlabrada to Levante one season, and then I think he kept going. He was quite a canny striker, to be fair.
Yeah. And now there's a minute and a half left on the clock, but there's going to be another 30 for the change. Hakeem has just took a lovely tackle there, earns a free kick for Málaga just on the edge of the 18 area, and this is going to relieve some pressure. We shouldn't really be giving this away from this point, I wouldn't have thought, Nick, but this is Málaga Club de Football. We never know what is around the corner.
No, and it is absolutely pissing it down in A Coruña now as well.
It's a joy to see. It's a joy to see.
Exactly. We don't mind seeing it raining in Spain. Makes us feel a little bit better about our existences in possibly the two of the three wettest parts of the UK.
Yeah. Now it's Málaga. One minute left. Málaga going on the case. If we can get a corner or something here.
It's just keeping the ball well, to be fair.
Yeah.
I know as well, Luke, that obviously you've got the purple away shirt, and I've got the old school purple and neon away shirt on. We've not seen much of it this season, to be fair, have we?
No, we haven't. I thought today may have been a day for it.
Oh,
is this Kevin's moment?
What's the keeper doing?
Ooh. See, it's just something like that. That is all it takes. Now use your head. Now just keep the ball. Keep the ball. That's all you need to do.
No, fuck it, go for it.
Go on then, Kev, lad.
No, come on, you're better than that.
Shit. Well recovered though. Oh, lack of communication.
Oh,
I'll tell you what, Kevin's worked well.
Oh.
Kevin's worked well. The show's definitely fit enough.
Yeah, right ball, to be fair. Outside of the boot, looking for Dione, but it's just too close to the goalkeeper.
This game may, on the outset, if you just look at the result, you may think boring game, but I think this game has been fantastic. I do.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that. It's been end to end. I think it's two teams that haven't been scared to go for it.
I mean, Nick, we've sat here for hours at a time. We've seen 0-0 draws in San Luquenio. We've seen 1-0 defeats in Malaya. Some of the shittest games we've ever watched in our lives. But this has been an entertaining 0-0.
Yeah, no, I've liked this, to be fair. I think Matt said at half-time as well. It's been end-to-end. Both teams
trying to
have a pop at each other. As the referee blows the full-time whistle.
And that's it. And for me, I think that's a good point. It's a warranted point.
Yeah, definitely. Lucas Perez doesn't seem to think so. He's currently gestating to the referee saying, what the fuck, mate? We're about to have a throw-in.
He shouldn't have dived earlier.
Aye, definitely.
I mean, that's this betting agency for Nick. Straight away, it goes out to another game, and I think we are in Benevento right now.
I was going to say, I don't even know where we are.
I think it's Benevento.
It's just gone. Fuck it, game over. You can now look at a beautiful view. To be fair,
actually, we are in Catanzaro. It's Catanzaro 1, Medina 1. Shall we keep this going?
To be fair, you might be not looking at the same game that I'm looking at. I'm looking at it's pre-match somewhere, and there's just a big sign that says Giallo Rosso. So fuck knows what I'm watching. How do I get rid of it? That's the big question. Oh, I'm watching Catanzaro versus Modena.
That's the one. That's the one.
You had. Well, that was quite a fun game, wasn't it, Luke? Just kind of look at some of the comments here. Just get my screen up and running. So full time in the Riazor. It is finished 0-0 between Malaga and Deportivo La Coruña. The two former Champions League sides play out that 0-0 draw. End to end, Luke, to be fair to say. I think we can be quite happy with that. Will Pellicer be happy with getting back onto a bit of an unbeaten run after last week?
Yes. For me, again, I would have took a point before the game. We've said multiple times this season, a point on the road in Secunda is a valid point. We've got to remember as well that Malaga have gone from the very southern Spain to the very northern Spain. It's not just around the corner. I know they're professional footballers. They're not travelling on a rickety old bus or anything like that. But it's still going to take you out of them. And to go into a huge ground like Ria Thor, yeah, 100% a cracking point in my eyes.
Definitely. Thank you to Liz Champman as well for your kind words there. We always try to make it nice and entertaining as we possibly can. I suppose just some final thoughts from myself. I think Pellicer will be definitely happy taking this away. A point on the road, as it was being alluded to before, as long as you win your games at home and you pick up a point in the road, you're going to be thereabouts at the end of the season. I can't see on my screen at the minute where Malaga currently reside in the league on the back of that point, but I imagine it's around mid-table.
Yeah, we are currently 10th. That takes us up to 10th again.
Which, if we go back to our pre-season predictions,
there's a long way to go. There's a long way to go.
Still a long way to go there, but I will take 10th at a heartbeat. Matt Butler says, thanks, lads. Take care. And vamos, Malaga. Luke, me and you will be back this week, won't we, in some point, not only to discuss this game in the review show, which should be out sort of Monday, Tuesday time, but we'll also be previewing the game next Thursday, where Malaga will travel to Cadiz. So a big game there over in Western Andalusia. Another tough place to go to, Luke. I think Pellicer will be looking at what he's going to do to this game, because it's great to see Kevin Larrubia coming back. We're going to be without our two star boys as well, won't we, for that one?
Yeah, unfortunately we are. But like you've just said, seeing Kevin and Larrubia and Danny Lorenzo, we've got the players currently coming back from injury. There's no reason why these boys can't be showing their experience at a young age now. But obviously we're going to talk about it midweek. But either way is, I know we've had two Andalus derbies so far, but this one's a little bit more feisty, I dare say.
Spicy. Just add a little bit of spice into there. But no, we're going to look forward to that one either same. Hopefully, I don't know, is it a Friday night game, Luke, if I remember rightly?
No, next Sunday, I think.
Sunday night game away in Cadiz. We might have another live stream for you there. We will keep you up to speed with that one. As I've said, review show early in the week, preview show later in the week. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch this game again with you, Luke, and you guys at home. So I suppose we can just say adios, and as always, vamos Malaga.
Vamos Malaga. Hasta luego.